Possible new reason for Ford's weird second door on home revealed, not for protection from cav as she stated. Unlike so many others out there, I did not find Dr. Christine Blasey Ford's testimony this last week compelling or even remotely credible. And it's the little details that keep tripping her up. Everything from the date it happened, to where it happened and who was present has been vague, shifting and not in the least verifiable. Ford testified in front of the Senate Judiciary Committee that she began having memories related to being abused years ago when she and her husband put a second front door on her house. What a strange trigger she's claiming was the cause for the resurfacing of sexual assault memories. Just bizarre. Not only that, but her timeline is not correct on when the door was installed. She claimed it was in 2012, but pictures show it was on the house in 2011 and possibly much earlier. It was not there in 2007. This again gives rise to many questions on her claims that just do not add up time-wise or evidence-wise. I have said from the beginning that her credibility is Swiss cheese. From the Washington Post. Over the years, I told very few friends that I had this traumatic experience. I told my husband before we were married that I had experienced a sexual assault. I had never told the details to anyone, the specific details, until May 2012, during a couples counseling session. The reason this came up in counseling is that my husband and I had completed a very extensive, very long remodel of our home, and I insisted on a second front door, an idea that he and others disagreed with and could not understand. In explaining why I wanted a second front door, I began to describe the assault in detail. I recall saying that the boy who assaulted me could someday be on the U.S. Supreme Court, and spoke a bit about his background at an elitist all-boys school in Bethesda, Maryland. My husband recalls that I named my attacker as Brett Kavanaugh. This does not pass the smell test, and her testimony here, in my opinion, cannot possibly be true given the timeline of the door being installed. This claim was the basis for her entire story that she gave to the U.S. Senate Judiciary Committee under oath. The door was installed sometime after 2008. Her story does not hold water. Not even close. Why is everyone just buying this? The door was not installed because of Kavanaugh's alleged groping as she claims. If I had to guess, I would agree with the Gateway pundit, that it is much more likely the door was installed for renters or as a means for clientele to visit a business setup in the house. Perhaps the FBI should look into that. Coincidentally, according to information found on the internet, a business was located at the exact same address as the Ford house. The couple's research center was located at the exact same location as Ford's home. Frankly, I do not believe in coincidence, and this whole charade is just falling apart more and more here. To be fair, we will cover another side of the story regarding the timeline of when the door was installed. Palo Alto news site, PA Daily Post, contends that a building permit backs up Ford's testimony. Despite an online rumor to the contrary, a building permit from the city of Palo Alto does not contradict Christine Blasey Ford's testimony regarding a second front door she had installed on her house. As the Post reported on Tuesday, September 25, a 2008 building permit for the 753-square-foot expansion on Ford's L-shaped, Eichler-style home includes plans for a new door on the master bedroom. The story mistakenly referred to the new bedroom door as a back door. Conservative pundit Paul Sperry tweeted about the second door on Thursday, September 27, claiming the 2008 date of the permit raises questions about Ford's testimony that the first time she told her husband that U.S. Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh had sexually assaulted her in high school was during a May 2012 conversation about their home remodel. According to the building permit, the Fords removed a home office attached to the garage, expanded the garage and added a master bedroom onto the front, with its own front door. The new bedroom's front door opens onto the street, perpendicular to an adjacent front door on the great room. They now rent out the master bedroom with a private door to Google interns, Ford testified. The floor plan is dated November 29, 2007, and received a plan check approval from the city on January 28, 2008. Other documents were submitted for the renovation on February 4, 2008. The Fords did not file any other building permits with the city until June 14, 2013, when they added a solar hot water system to their home. What I want to know is why no one is looking deeper into Ford, her accounts and her dealings here. All of this smacks of a plan set up by the left. The timing was too perfect and too convenient, just as the charges are. It reeks of underhandedness. Also from Gateway pundit. Our house does not look aesthetically pleasing from the curb. This implied that currently, today, it does not look pleasing. But you cannot even see the second front door anymore. Back in the November 2011 Google Map shot, they already had started putting up posts of the wooden wall, and the walkway and new flower beds are already in. Diffie asks, and do you have that second front door, totally implying that she wants to know how the quibble with her husband turned out. The March 2011 picture shows the new door, and you can see that the remodel new space was in the back of the house. By comparing with 2007 photo, you can see the new roofline in the back. The November 2011 image shows the wood wall posts and a new pathway in front of the new door area. All of this still begs an answer for how Ford's notes were released from her therapist in the first place, unless of course, she gave her permission. I have not believed this woman from the beginning. I think she is either delusional or criminal. Maybe both. But if the FBI is going to look into Kavanaugh, they should also look into Ford. What's good for the goose here is good for the gander. Bad day for America. Good day for the redundant front door installation industry.